French, but shalom, and greetings to you all. How was your Groundhog Day? You know, the little rodent condemned us to 6 more weeks of winter, and what was it starting with a blast? An Arctic blast, that is. And of course, we're only a week away from Valentine's Day, the non-Jewish festival of love and chocolate and flowers. Give me love. Give me love. Give me peace on earth. Give me light. Give me life. Keep me free from birth. Give me hope. Help me cope with this heavy load. Trying to touch and reach you with heart and soul. Now, love, peace on earth, light, life. Love conquers all. Why can't we have that? It may be cold, but spring is coming and we think of love. This is the time of winter when people have had enough. They long for the move to spring, to warmth, the sunlight, the baseball, golf, the joys of outdoors. How great is it that the NFL learned years ago that Super Bowls in Detroit, Minnesota, New York don't work? People want warm. And it sure is entertaining watching not just how warm, but how hot some are getting over the slightest political movements these days. You'd think the world was ending. What a shame that people put such energy into this. You can't watch the news without seeing people melt down over what seems to be the exposure of government waste. Who wouldn't want to see where the free money that's not so free goes? I love it. And if it means less taxes, I'm all for it. And that's nothing compared to the new president talking about taking land and moving people. Now, these aren't the armies of Alexander, Cyrus, and Genghis conquering foreign lands. This is economic change. This isn't the old age of imperialism, other than perhaps monetary imperialism. Today we will read about the movement of nations and the search for land. It's always been search for land. Give me land, lots of land, under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in. Now, nobody wants to be fenced in. We need to feel free. We need to seek that promised land we've all been promised. The land that flows with milk and honey. Shangri-La, the Riviera. Speaking of which, when I was young, there was only one Riviera. Now there's several, each distinguished by giving it its geographic region in its name. And now there might be another Riviera. But wouldn't it be nice instead if these searches for the return to Eden, because that's what they really are, became the return to Eden for all mankind? Now, the other evening I put on a classic TV station. I love classic movies. Although my idea of classic's not necessarily anyone else's. And it was playing It's a Wonderful Life. It might have gained fame as a Christmas movie that no one really liked till it hit the public domain. But it's not about Christmas. Friends, it's about the impact we have on the countless lives we encounter in our lifetimes. In fact, almost all movies that impact us have that aspect to them. Fantasy, like Wizard of Oz, has that as an underlying part of it, as does Back to the Future. It's the impact on people's lives. We do not know the impact we have. Just as George Bailey did not know the impact he had until his guardian angel Clarence showed him what life would have been like for countless people had they not met George. Well, you're all George Bailey. You have no idea the impact you're having on the world or the number of angels you're helping. Just as you have no idea how many people are glad you've lived without them telling you how glad they are. Think of the impact your thinking of the hostages has had on their energy, their well-being. You pray for them, you want for them. Makes you want good for all. And that energy has an impact. Do not be afraid to tell the people in your life that you're glad that they have lived. You hear me say this to you all the time, and I'll continue to. And you partly do that just when we come together as a group, a like-minded group, because we are a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith, any and all faith, love, any and all love. As we come together as a community, a fellowship, a chavura, as we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes, because it unites us all in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. And even though together, we're individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her their own way. So once again, please do go ahead. Invite everybody you know, physically, digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, any way at all, to gather and share. From Psalm 133, the Hine Matov, come together. Hine Matov, Umenayim, Shebetachim Gam Yad. Hine Matov, Umenayim, Shebetachim Gam Yad. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. We support each other in this community because we are one giant community. So let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside just a little bit of sacred time in your own sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in, because we actually all do believe in something. It's part of your Kavanaugh. It's your intention that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill, and goodwill and intention are the roots of what you control, of what you can correct. It's your intention that sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives. It's goodwill, energy, light. We send it all out to help heal whoever you know that needs healing. Healing and renewals for everybody, because it floats through space, finding those in need. So continue to send it out for those you know and for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. Think whoever that needs healing and renewal and love, or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. The Tikkun Olam, that's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. And yes, we do this as a prayer for healing, but it's for goodwill for everyone. And part of the healing of the world is when we send this thought, this energy, for health and renewal for everybody. They don't have to be sick, but it is primarily the prayer for the sick, and that's what you're going to hear it as when you go to your services. But it's for those in our hearts and our minds. It could be any time. So let's all send out energy for people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers for those who truly are in need of assistance. We pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them. It's what we do as a community, because we want health, recovery, good life for everybody around us. Let's continue to send healing energy for the hostages still held, still in prison. Let's demand they all be free. For those closer to us, for Sean, for Leo and Alan and Rosanna, for Charles, Miriam, for Callie and Carson, for Amin, for AJ and Gabby, for Trevor and Jess, for Luke and Terry, for the elf, for Dave and Sabrina, for Maria and Paul, for Pam, for Marlu, for Lucy, Shelley, for Winston and Inura, for Sweet Alana, for Johnny and Fern, Kathleen, Carla, Mina, for John and Maria, for Doria and Gloria, for Connie and the ever-resilient Ronnie, for Talia and Maya, for Nina and Danny Boy, all those suffering and in need. And let's not forget to include the familiars of our lives, all of our sacred animal friends everywhere, for everyone you know in need, for the whole world, and for the bee. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out. It just circles the world. It's finding those in need all the time. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit. And spirit, my friends, never dies. Shabbat. Avotenu Makor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits renewed. This is the great prayer for healing, because we call upon God to heal as He has healed before. Misha Baruch, may He who blessed, because all healing is a blessing. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. We all want renewal. We all want happiness. We all want to be the best we can be and be the best we can be for our families and for those that we love. Now, the introduction of God is over. The people are readying for their leaving. They're getting ready for next week's climax, the great epiphany, as we read beshalach, when he sent. People have been freed in the most dramatic way possible. It was, and to many still is, the most important holy day, not just in the Bible, but in the year. It has been supplanted by the high holidays of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which were never meant that way. The constant introduction of God in all future liturgy emphasizes his role as he who freed us, and points to the most important holiday was the one reminding us we can be free. If there could be only one holiday in the year, it would be the holiday of freedom. We've all been given the ability to forgive, and we can exercise that incredible power anytime we want. But without freedom, there is nothing. Now, we saw a ritual performed, which we were told to perform in perpetuity, and which we attempt, but we've adopted a second temple and later ritual, which actually bears little resemblance to the ordered observation. And as we get ready for Passover, which is coming up not that far away, we're going to talk about that. But this week the physical journey begins. The people cross the Red Sea. God drowns the pursuing Egyptians. We see the miracles begin to take hold, primarily involving light, food, and water, the three staples of life, of survival, for without them we die. Friends, this is a generation that you're about to meet unlike any other, the wilderness generation. And yes, many of you may still feel you were there. Exodus 13:17. And it was when Pharaoh let the people go that God did not lead them by way of the Philistines' land. A new route was going to be taken for very good reasons. Now, the Passover ritual was observed as it will never be observed again. The execution of the firstborn was done. God released Pharaoh's will so he would let the people go. Notice had been given. The world knew who God was and what he could do. His objectives had been met. Perhaps all the things on his or their vision board were now coming to fruition. But here is this group that had been locked in slavery and confinement for 430 years and had been completely provided for, given their food, their water, their lodging, who knew nothing of independence, of freedom, of initiative. They would have to learn, and what they ultimately learned has been passed down to us, so that, friends, no dream is too big, no challenge too great. Nothing we want for our future is beyond our reach. This all comes to us from our trek through the desert. These people have been slaves for generations, if not physically, certainly mentally. Decision-making, willpower, responsibility has never been a part of their lives. One doesn't acquire responsibility instantly when one becomes free. Facing opponents, having to take arms and fight would terrify anyone. Their natural reaction would be to turn and flee. But these people were not given that chance. The route they were being taken on won't let them. The Red Sea situation is different, with the Egyptian army behind them and an open sea in front of them. They do not need to make a decision. They don't need to exert willpower or take any responsibility. They have no choice but to go forward. Just as we often, when our backs are to the walls, we go forward. They needed to be turned into a nation. But how? Exodus 13:21. And the Lord was going in front of them, by day in a column of cloud to show them the way, and by night in a column of fire to shed light for them, so as to go by day and by night. This was not just the physical manifestation. Now, we've all heard of God's glory. We still do. We still reference God's glory, sometimes referred to as the grace of God. It began with the cloud, which was also used metaphorically to refer to wisdom. And you're going to see it referred to specifically. Exodus 16:10. And it was Aaron was speaking to all the congregation of the children of Israel, and they turned to the wilderness. And here was the Lord's glory appearing in a cloud. If you find it in your heart, can I be forgiven? Yes, I owe you some kind of apology. I've escaped death so many times. I know I'm only living by the saving grace that's over me. The grace of God, my friends, we all still seek it. It began as a cloud. Now, this was no ordinary cloud. This was a pillar with two sides, two functions. And the Lord was going in front of them by day in a cloud of cloud to show them the way, and by night in a column of fire to shed light for them so as to go by day and night. The cloud and fire have this special two-sided function, both conveying God's presence and reflecting God's mysteriousness. The narrative tells us that God himself goes in front of the Israelites in the wilderness, but they do not see the deity, because he travels in the daytime in the column of cloud and by night in the column of fire. Fire which became the Exodus calling card of God. Remember, Exodus must be read with a consciousness that the cloud or the fire is present at all times. Constant miracle, an introduction of the cosmic to history. You must have a sense of the awe involved in this phenomenon, particularly expressed in fire. It was miraculously burning bush that first drew Moses, and now the people experience a similar phenomenon, a continuous, miraculous fire. And this pillar of cloud swings around from Israelite front to rear in order to form a barrier between the Hebrews and the Egyptians. As night falls, the pillar of cloud, in response to the gathering darkness, turns into fire to light up the night. What you don't know yet, but you'll find out later, is the cloud shifts and actually becomes a covering for the ark when it's built. And it determines when the people move forward and when the people stay. But for now, it is there to protect and to guide. Now this begins a 40-year journey in which visible proof of God is evident every single day. Think of that. The people are going to be taken to where there is no turning back, and God will again strengthen Pharaoh's heart to have him go after the people. That suits God's will. Exodus 14:3. And the Pharaoh will say to the children of Israel, they're muddled in the land, the wilderness has closed them in, and I'll strengthen Pharaoh's heart, and he'll pursue them, and I'll be glorified against Pharaoh and against all his army, and Egypt will know I am he who causes being. And the Lord strengthened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued the children of Israel. You know, friends, when our backs are to the wall, we take a stand and we decide. Stay and fight, perish, move forward. We have and we do, often quaking in fear, but we go forward. We survive and we thrive. The Jewish nation has been survivors ever since. It is built into your genetic makeup. You can never be defeated. Exodus 14:10. And the children of Israel raised their eyes. Here was Egypt coming after them, and they were very afraid. And the children of Israel cried out to the Lord, and they said to Moses, was it because of an absence of graves in Egypt you took us to die in the wilderness? What is this that you've done to us to bring us out of Egypt? The people in their complaint to Moses, and this is just a sign of what's to come. The people become real complainers. They show who they are. They are fear personified. They ask whether they'd have been better off in Egypt. No work, no effort. But that would interfere with God's plan. Exodus 14:7. And I'm strengthening Egypt's heart. They'll come after them, and I'll be glorified against Pharaoh. The people cower in fear as God attains his glory. Fear. We still continue to wear it as a badge. The gift of Jacob and his sons, the great thief of life. It's built into the DNA of man and into all of us, so that we need to be reminded annually that we are actually free. We have no need to fear. Now this is just quick insight into what we're going to be seeing from these people. Exodus 14:21. Moses reached his hand out over the sea, and the Lord drove back the sea with a strong east wind all night and turned the sea into dry land. And the sea was split, and the children of Israel came through the sea on the dry ground. The water was a wall to them at their right and at their left. This is the beginning of the 40-year continuous miracle. Never before or since that we're aware of has man been the recipient of that kind of exposure to God or the benefit of that level of intimacy. This generation, this wilderness generation, is the most unique group in history who had the pleasure of God's company for 40 years, daily exposure, pure knowledge of the entity. This was a generation who had no idea what our term of belief in would mean, because they had belief that. Their knowledge of God was not belief, but knowledge. How interesting that life would be if you simply knew instead of believed. This generation was a living example of how God provides. To overcome hunger, God provided food through manna and quail. When thirsty, he had Moses bring water from desert rocks. At night, he provided fire for light. The three essentials for life, the three prayers that frame the Sabbath. This wonderment, fire and cloud, every day for 40 years. It's pretty amazing. And for those who thought this whole episode was about freeing the people, it was not. This generation saw God and experienced miracles on a daily basis for 40 years. But did they believe? Did they have faith? Did they really know? Many nights we prayed with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts, a hopeful song we barely understood. And we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains long before we knew we could. There can be miracles when you believe. But hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe? Somehow you will. You will when you believe. It's a great song, but we don't believe. We still succumb to fear. You don't have to. It is a choice. There are miracles in your life. Everyday freedom is there. That's why Passover and the Festival of Freedom was the most important of all biblical holy days. God will continue to provide for this nation while they learn. God will continue to provide manna for the people. It's going to rain down from heaven for 40 years. All they have to do is take what they need, and no hoarding, because they will be provided for. But of course, they do hoard. And all the excess food goes bad. They're told they don't have to, but they do it. And they even complain further. Man is not good enough for them. They're being provided. They don't have to do anything. They want meat. So in addition to the bread, that's when God gives them the quail. Try to amend my carnivorous habits. Made it nearly 70 days. Losing weight without speed. And sunflower seeds. Drinking lots of carrot juice and cooking up rays. But at night I'd have these wonderful dreams. Some kind of sensuous treat. Not zucchini, fettuccine, or bulgur, but a big bun and a huge hunk of meat. Cheeseburger in paradise. Heaven on earth with an onion slice. Not too particular, not too precise. Cheeseburger in paradise. Now, who wouldn't want a cheeseburger in paradise? Yes, my friends, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light, and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone. An end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we're a community. We learn together. We celebrate with each other. We love each other. We share this right together, men and women equally. So let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. please do learn to forgive. Learn to love, including yourself. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe. We set in motion everything that happens in our lives. It's our intention, our kavana, our cause, our effect. It's all linked. You always have time to forgive and be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad, so acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged, and ask forgiveness. But always do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So keep on dreaming, my friends. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear. Follow love, because love is always in front of you, especially next week. And please work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet your mind, because the deepest source of real power, it lies in your consciousness, in your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. Love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone's always there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief, and never accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together, we learn together, we help each other, because we're each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. And we all have or could have a special someone in our lives. So find them. Tell them what they mean. You're never alone on your journey. Listen to the voice of God as he, she, it, them, they, although it looks like pronouns are going the way of the dodo, talks to you. And remember your connection to God and all he has created, body and soul. It's a part of you, it's a part of me, it's a part of all of us forever. So listen to his voice. He's talking to you all the time. Get ready for, this new year and a new you. Because friends, the time of God is his own time. And it's always in the right way at the right time. But that way and time may not be the way and time you wanted it. And that is, of course, the great lesson of acceptance. Well, you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. Can't always get what you want. But if you try sometime, you'll find, get what you need. Yes, you do. You get what you need. We all get what we need, my friends. Thank you for joining me. Have a great week. I'll see you all soon. I hope you all continue to celebrate the miracles of life and get ready to enjoy Valentine's Day. Share it with a loved one. Thank you. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.